Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dancing Eyes Podcast, Episode 6. My name is Frankie Caputo, and this is a podcast where I talk to people with nystagmus about life for a little bit. We talk about some of the ups, the downs, the good things, the bad things, and everything in the middle. I just want to say thanks to all of you who are tuning in, and I hope that every single one of you finds some value in this episode. Also, please comment how you feel about the episode. I'd love to hear what you guys think. My guest today is Chloe. She's 17, and she is currently in high school. Chloe is actually my first guest who is currently in high school, so that's definitely going to be a major talking point of this episode. We also get into her experience with driving and a lot more. Very briefly, I do want to say that my internet did go out about halfway through the filming of this episode, so there might be a few seconds halfway in there that might sound a little awkward, but trust me, the worst of it has been edited out, so you guys aren't going to have to hear all of that. And for anybody who is interested in being a guest on the podcast, please reach out to me. My email is frankiecaputo@gmail.com. Alright, and with all that being said, I think now would be a good time to get going with the episode. Just please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and also leave me a comment. Okay, and with all that being said, let's get on with the show. Uh-oh, it's recording.
Oh boy.
Pressure.
Pressure.
All right, yes. Welcome everybody. This is the Dancing Eyes Podcast, Episode 6. My name's Frankie Caputo, and I'm here with Chloe.
Hello.
So Chloe reached out to me via email, which is ideal. And I know I asked you guys to reach out to me via email, but for whatever reason, nobody likes to. But she actually reached out to me via email, and here she is. So you're 17, you're in high school. Are you a senior?
I'm currently a junior.
You're a junior
in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I graduate next year.
You're almost there. Almost done.
Almost. Hopefully it goes fast.
I know, yeah. I wasn't a big fan of school either. Kind of hated it. What do you plan on doing after you graduate?
Honestly, I have no idea right now. I'm just kind of winging it. My plan is like high school and then like a gap year. I know people are like, if you take a gap year, then you're most likely not going to go back to school, but I don't want to go to college and spend a bunch of money I don't have, not knowing what I want to do. So
yeah. I was in your situation. I was in your position. When I was 17, I was also a junior when I was 17, and I had no idea what I wanted to do either. I didn't know if I wanted to do college, because I hated school. Still not a fan of school.
Mm-hmm.
I still really don't like school. I don't know, how do you feel about school?
I mean, I don't have the best relationship with school, to be honest. Like, it used to be good when I was a kid, because I used to, like, be super into learning, but I think, like, the older I got and the worse, like, the classes got, work-wise, I just gave up on liking it. Plus, like, kids, man, they're brutal sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially in the early years in high school, for me at least, or like the end of middle school.
Mine was middle school. Middle school
yeah.
was like the worst. But I feel like a lot of people have that same experience in middle school.
Middle schoolers are brutal. I still don't want to go near middle. Yeah, they're scary.
They're scary. They are terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get freshmen coming in, and I'm like, oh no, now I understand why the upperclassmen didn't want to be near us.
I always avoided them, the freshmen. I only stayed with the freshmen when I was a freshman. Even when I was a freshman, I didn't want to be with the freshmen. I still avoided them pretty much all costs.
That's a mood, honestly.
All of my friends are older than me. My friends were seniors when I was sophomores, so when I was a sophomore, they were seniors. So
yeah.
So what, the workload? You don't like the workload, like the amount of homework it is?
I don't like, the workload. I just think it's a lot. I mean, personally, I don't do anything like out of school. I'm not in any clubs, or I don't work. So I feel like it's kind of weird for me to be complaining about it when I have a bunch of friends who are like doing like band and sports, and they're working afterwards after doing it. But No, I mean, it's just like, it's a lot of work that I just am not motivated to do.
I hear you. That's one of my actual regrets about high school is not doing any of the extracurricular stuff. I wish I would have done band or done some type of sport or something.
Yeah.
That's
I
about the only thing I would change.
I think that if I were to go back and do something, like I was in choir for a little while and I like doing that. But I think I would have liked doing band. Like I see my friends who are in band and they have a lot of fun doing it. And I think I would have too. I just like I think I was too scared to try to play an instrument that I just like ended up not doing it.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. All right. So earlier you were saying middle school. That's the worst, right?
Yeah, middle school was bad.
Why is middle school so bad? Does it have to do with your eyes or is it something
I
else?
mean, actually, kind of, yeah. A lot of my middle school like dislike was kind of like it was gym class. Gym class kind of made the middle school experience the worst ever. Like I was the kid who would get hit in the face with whatever ball we were playing with all the time,
What's the
which was
worst
always
ball?
embarrassing.
Which one's the worst?
The worst one, I mean, I like football's hurt a lot.
Yeah. Oh, you guys got to play football
Football,
in gym class? I'm jealous. I never got to play
yeah,
football in
we
gym.
did a lot of weird stuff like frisbee.
Oh,
Like we did like frisbee. That was that was the worst. Honestly, my
yes.
gym teacher took so long trying to teach me how to throw frisbee, and I was like, I don't know if you understand. This is not gonna happen. Like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this, and it's gonna go the way you want me
Oh
to
yeah.
throw.
I hated frisbee too. I think frisbee was the worst. That's the one sport I always got hit in the head. I got hit in the face.
Yeah.
Like the frisbees, I remember the frisbees to the mouth, like to the mouth, to the
Oh,
nose. Yeah. It
yeah.
wasn't it wasn't very often, but it's even though it's happened maybe only once or twice, I remember it. It's just because
No, yeah.
I
I mean,
remember.
I don't think you can forget those experiences. Like, I feel like I was one of the only kids to get hit in the face. Like, sure, like it would happen to a couple of other kids, but like my school's kind of filled with a bunch of people who are like athletes. Like, it's
Okay.
like there's just a bunch of athletes in my school, which isn't that, it's not like an issue or anything, but I'm just saying that like generally they're usually a lot more athletic. And so it tended to happen to me the most, and it was just the most embarrassing thing. And it just was not fun.
Okay, so you're definitely not an athlete. I'm assuming you
Definitely
don't
not.
I'm assuming you don't watch sports because you don't like to play
No,
sports.
I
Okay.
don't. I mean, I like watching baseball sometimes, but it's not enough to know like any of like the
Baseball
players or the teams.
baseball's the worst one.
Yeah,
It's the worst one.
I think I like baseball because it was the only sport that I was decent at when it came to gym class.
Oh.
Surprisingly, it was the only one that I was good at. So
Your
I
vision
kind of
didn't
just
stop you
like
from being good at baseball?
from being good at baseball, no, for some reason. I don't know how
Hmm.
because I can't have things thrown at me. But like for some reason it just like baseball it was fine.
What about have you ever played ping pong, table tennis?
No,
I'm
mm,
wicked good at that. I don't know
I
why.
didn't. No,
Yeah, I feel like I
yeah.
shouldn't be as good at that as I am with my eyes. It just seems like something I shouldn't be good at, but I am. I don't know
I
what
mean,
happened there.
I feel like there's some sort of like spatial awareness we have that just kind of like makes it happen.
I
Or
don't
like I can
know.
guess the distance. Like like I'm sure it's there.
It's there somewhere. Yeah.
It's there somewhere. If I just swing, it'll hit something.
How's your hand-eye coordination?
Um, it's all right. I mean, I play a lot of video games, and I think that helps, to be honest. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any like science behind that or whatever, but I mean, I think it helps when you're like looking at the screen and you're not looking at the controller, but you're able to like know what the buttons do and that stuff. But like I think that helped me a lot. But I think it's pretty all right. It's not that awful.
I think the video games have helped with my hand-eye coordination too, actually.
Yeah.
I don't play a lot. I used to play a lot of Halo when I was younger, and I would play a lot of Madden, which is a football game. So I would do a lot of that. That might have helped with my hand-eye coordination. Well, like I've always played sports and I've always loved
Hmm.
sports, so that maybe also helped with the hand-eye coordination. And I've dabbled a bit in boxing as well. And surprisingly, like my eyes, I don't think they've actually affected me in boxing. I'm
Hmm.
I'm not actually bad at that either. And I've actually ran into a few other people with nystagmus who have also boxed, and that hasn't stopped them either. So maybe because it's direct combat, the other person's so close that you don't really have to see much. Like you just kind of, I don't know. I mean, you're just trying to hit their head or their body. I mean, it's right there. It's not like you're trying to hit something.
Right, yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah, boxing was fun. So did you get bullied in middle school?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. But,
So did I.
it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It got to the point where I got so just fed up with it that I just was like,
Do you
yeah,
think
it
that's
wasn't.
partially responsible for your dislike in school?
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of kids in my class that I just like completely avoid being around because like just that whole group of people. And I think that didn't make it good, but I think my dislike of school also came from a lot of like the anxiety that I had just growing up and going through that, which I'm getting better with it now, but I used to be super anxious back then. Like it was bad. Like I could
Stuck in your
like
head?
barely even talk to people. Yeah, like stuck in
Yeah.
my head. It was bad.
Yeah, I was like that too. I've been like that until recently. Like it only just started getting better for me. I'm 21,
Yeah,
so it started getting better for me maybe just when I was 19, 20 maybe.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I just started like getting better about it. Like this year or like last year or whatever, because we just had the New Year's. But like last year it was kind of like the moment when I finally like got some help for it. And so I've been doing better slowly. Um,
Okay.
which was how I was able to reach out. So that's good.
So do you think the bullying was about the eyes? Because when I got bullied, I only got bullied about my eyes. It was nothing else.
Yeah. I I mean, yeah, it was mostly in relation to the eyes because it was a lot about the sports thing, which is also kind of why gym was just
Mhm.
the worst. Was because I got super nervous anytime I would be in gym class, and I would try my best to just like avoid having to play as much as possible, which I know isn't the best thing to do when you're only playing like team sports in school. But I was like, I'm not much help anyway, so even if I don't play, it's not that big of a deal. But no, yeah, kids were very upset with me about that. And so they they were just not happy.
Well, I'm sure the
They did
kids on
not
your
treat
team
me
were
very
upset with you
nice.
about it. I'm sure the kids on the other team were pretty thrilled about it. They get
Yeah,
The other team gets one less
probably. They
player.
were probably very happy, but no, yeah, the people just weren't nice about the fact that I was not good at sports.
Yeah. So how have the eyes affected your high school? Do you think that
Um,
they've played a role?
I mean a little bit, yeah, like walking through the halls. Because like in middle school, the way our halls worked was that all of the grades were in the same hallway. So it wasn't like it was that big of a deal back then because I was just walking like next door.
Hmm.
But in high school, obviously, I'm walking from like one end of the place to the other. And for some reason, like the lights we have in the high school really bother me. Um, and so like I'm constantly like walking sideways or running into something or someone. Like there will be people that'll come out of nowhere because my peripheral is just bad
Hmm.
and I just like run into them And it's the worst. I hate doing that because I feel so awful when I run into people in the hallway, or if I like walk in front of them while they're walking because I just didn't see them. I
Yeah.
feel really bad cutting people off, but I just legitimately, like, I did not see that person standing like right there. So like the hallways is a big thing, but I've been doing okay because I got like a 504, so I get accommodations, so I get to sit in the front of the class and like stuff like that. I mean,
Okay.
obviously you can do that if you just ask, but I mean, it just makes it easier for me because I'm nervous about like walking up and like asking like, hey, can I get this or can I get that? And it just kind of like helps my teachers know that like I probably need that.
Are there any other benefits that you think the 504 gives to you?
Um, it helps. I get big print books. Like if we read books in English, I get bigger print. That
Mhm.
way I can read it easier. Um, and that also goes with like worksheets. Like teachers will print me out worksheets that are like bigger font than other people. Um, and that helps a lot because I mean, when I'm reading like a normal book, I'm like face in book. Like no one can see me at all. Like I am in the book. Um,
Same. Do you have a null point? I'm not seeing a null point.
I do, yeah. I'm like trying to like face forward, but I do.
Okay.
I
I do
usually
that
look
too.
this way. Yeah, like this way is kind of it, but I'm like so used to like trying to look forward at people that I'm like just it's just like when I'm talking to people, I try my best to look forward at them because I think when I was a kid, it was always look people in the eye when you're talking to them.
Mhm.
Make sure you look people in the eye if you're talking to them. Like it's rude if you do not, so please look people in the eye. And so I'm just like hyper focused on trying to look you in the eye, even though we're like screens.
That was one of the things that brought me a lot of insecurity and so yeah, a lot of insecurity when I was younger is the looking people in the eyes thing because
Yeah,
I would always try to look people in the eyes, and then there would just be a select group of people who would make fun of me and say, "Come on, Frankie, like you have to look at me." And meanwhile, I'm like to me, I'm looking like right at them. But
oh yeah,
so that that always brought me some insecurity because I would try to look at them, and then my eyes would start shaking because I'm anxious, and that's just
right,
something that would
yeah.
happen if I'm anxious. They would start going a little crazy. Do you, do you ever struggle with that? Like, did you struggle looking people in the eyes?
Yeah, yeah, I did a lot. Um, it was kind of weird. You know, like I don't when I was a kid, right? I've had like the surgeries and stuff, like muscle surgeries
Okay.
for it, like my drifting eyes and stuff. And um like my like after you get surgery, your eyes are bloodshot, you know?
Yeah.
And like I was a young kid when I had that happen. And like for some reason in my head, that was all I could see from my eyes for a very long time. Like I just constantly thought like, oh my God, nobody's because I like scared myself when I looked in the mirror. And so like for some reason there was just like some deep rooted insecurity of like I can't let them see what my eyes look like, even though they didn't look like that anymore. But for some reason in my child brain, I was like, yes, this is how that works.
How long
It's
were they
not.
red for?
Um, they were only red for like a week, maybe even. But like for some reason, I just was like really, I just like really fixated on it, and it like freaked me out.
Hmm.
Um, but then I think the insecurity also came from I would look people in the eyes and they would be like, "Why are your eyes shaking? Why are they doing that? That's kind of weird." It's like, okay, let's just skip over that. Like, let's just ignore that real quick. And then like I also get double vision, so
Okay.
it was a lot of the how many fingers am I holding up? And it's
Oh
like
yeah,
I know
that's a fun
how
one.
many fingers you're holding up. Like it's not hard to tell the difference. Please stop asking me.
Did you always have the double vision, or did it come after the surgery?
I always had it.
Okay.
I always had it. I think it was actually the first thing that my mom noticed that I had was the double vision because I like verbalized that I saw double.
Hmm.
Um, And that was kind of what brought her to take me to the eye doctor in the first place, was because I had the double vision. I bounced around eye doctors a lot until I finally landed on the one that I've had now for like 12 years. And yeah, it was just, the double vision was what led me to finding out that I also had nystagmus.
Oh, so you weren't diagnosed with nystagmus until you were able to verbalize to your parents that you had double vision. So
Yeah.
nobody ever saw your eyes and said, "Oh, there's something going on
No,
here."
I think it was mainly like the drifting at the beginning that they kind of were like, that's strange. I don't know why that's happening. But yeah, once I finally verbalized, like, hey, I see two of you right now, Mom. She was like, all right, we're getting you into the eye doctor. That's not normal.
I can actually relate to you. I've had double vision before. I had
Yeah.
a procedure to fix my null point, or to at least stabilize it a little bit, when I was 13. And after the procedure, I had really bad double vision. Just I saw two of
Oh,
everything.
geez.
And then I
Yeah.
eventually got glasses with a prism in them. Do your glasses have a prism in them?
Currently, no. I had a prism last time, but I got surgery in between then, and I took the prisms out after that. So, yeah,
Okay.
I got the prisms out after my last surgery. But
And the surgery
I
helped with the
had
double
prisms for
vision?
a while. Yeah. So basically my double vision is essentially gone now.
Nice.
Like it's not like gone, but it's like it only really bothers me a lot when I'm like super tired. But
Okay.
right now it's just like kind of the nystagmus that's like, hey, I'm still here. We're still hanging out.
So what has that been like for you? Is it still affecting you? Like how what I usually ask this question, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much does the nystagmus affect you right now?
Like, I mean, right now, because I'm like
Well, not like right
staring
now, but just in this, where you're at in your life.
right now where I'm at in my life, I guess I'd give it like, I don't know, like a five, a solid five. Because like some days it's all right, and I'm like I'm going through my day, and I'm just it feels pretty like okay. And then there are some days where it's like really bothering me, like I'm getting the headaches, and like I'm having a lot of issues. So I guess I'm gonna go five, because some days it gets bad, and then some days it's like okay.
Okay. Was there a time in your life where you would say it affected you more or less than a five, or has it always been a five?
Um, I mean, when I was younger, obviously, I think it got to me more, but that was just because I was also dealing with the double vision,
Hmm.
and then like my anxiety wasn't making anything better. So when I was younger, it was kind of like all of that stuff mixing together that made it like even worse than it already, normally is.
I hear you. So does the anxiety make the nystagmus worse?
I think so, yeah. Like anxiety, like being super tired. I guess it doesn't have to be like you're extremely tired, but like if I'm tired, it'll start acting up more. And then like, yeah, I guess that's
Okay.
kind of when I notice it more.
I'm with you. I agree. That's when I notice it the most too, is when I'm anxious. I haven't really noticed like the tired, like the nystagmus from being tired, but almost every single one of my guests have said that being tired has made the shaking worse. But I don't really I don't get tired really. I don't really experience tiredness too often, so I can't
I
really relate.
mean, consider yourself lucky, because being tired is awful.
Do
Like,
you ever drink any caffeine? Do you drink any coffee?
I don't know. I can't stand the taste of coffee. I like
Okay.
try my best to avoid it.
What about
But
if you put some milk or some sugar in there?
no, it doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
still bean water.
All right. All right.
I,
Fair enough.
I don't, but no, I mean, I didn't really like. It's so weird because a lot of like my realizations also came from my mom just like noticing and watching me. But like the tired thing, I never like super focused on it, because like obvious like in my brain it was just one of those things where I I just lived with it. I wasn't like focusing on, oh, it affects me like this or it affects me like this. I just was going my day-to-day life, not really trying to think a whole lot about it or like focus on it a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom, when I would get tired and it would be late at night, she'd be like, are you like, how are you seeing right now? Because your eyes are shaking more than usual. And that would be something that she would say every once in a, like, pretty decently, a pretty decent amount of times. And so I feel like I noticed that I got that way when I was tired, kind of because my mom was like pointing it out to me. And then I was like, oh, you're right. I am not seeing that great right now.
I see. Okay. When they start shaking a lot, do you see the shaking? Do you see your world moving around?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Same.
Which is such a weird experience. Like I notice it especially with like patterns. I hate patterns. And by patterns, like there's certain patterns that I will see and they just move all the time. They're just moving the whole time. And it's not one of like those weird optical illusion patterns. It's just like moving. And then
like a checkers board?
Yeah, kind of. But like straight lines, like if they're stacked together, I can't like look at them because they just hurt my eyes. Like,
so is it hard for you to count the amount of stories in a tall building?
Probably. I mean, I never tried to do that.
No, it's just me. I do it all. Yeah.
Maybe.
I struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I went to the eye doctor, they started doing this actually, where they would test like different line spacings to see like how you saw like the different lines or like how close together they could be while you could still see them. And it got to a point where I just didn't see lines at all. And they were like, there's obviously lines there. And I'm like, no, there is not. That is just gray. I don't know what lines you're talking about. And I was like, okay, maybe I cannot see straight lines.
I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever had that done at an eye doctor before.
No, yeah, I get a bunch of fun stuff done at my eye doctor.
Yeah, what other fun stuff gets done?
I mean, I get to do a lot of like the cool fun 3D testing where it's like which dot is off of the page, and then I get to like choose which dots off of the page and stuff like that. Because I used to not be able to see 3D for a while, which is cool.
What's that like? If you can't see
It's
3D,
awful.
then how do you see your world?
Okay, well, I guess I meant like movie-wise. Like if you go to like a 3D movie, I couldn't see.
The one where you have to put the glasses.
Yeah.
So you didn't get the 3D.
I didn't get the 3D effect.
Oh.
Yeah, which was weird. But yeah, so I never went to 3D movies because they were just blurry the whole time.
I don't blame you.
It was not. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, it was so cool when like the thing came out of the screen and it like whatever happens." And I was like, "Yeah, I definitely saw that. That definitely happened, and I remember."
Well, Universal in Florida had this 4D Shrek ride, and you probably would really hate that.
My God.
That
sounds amazing.
Like that. Oh, it was great. I actually just think that they closed it recently. I don't know if it's still active.
Oh no!
But, yeah.
So
you're a Shrek fan.
I don't know if I want to call myself that, to be honest. I guess I.
You don't want to be classified as the Shrek fan.
Yeah, I don't. Not really. I mean,
what if when I post the podcast, I just say like Dancing Eyes Podcast episode 6 Shrek fan
with the Shrek fan? Just like
you're wearing the green too.
Shrek. Oh no.
Yeah, you're the Shrek fan now. That's it.
Photoshop a picture of Shrek like in the square where I'm at.
Get some Shrek on the background there. We're on Zoom. I know you can do that.
Oh my God.
Shrek in the background.
I've never used Zoom before. I was so worried. I was like, I was worried because my internet goes out a lot, and I was like, oh no.
No, it was me. I've never seen the internet go out over here before, and it went
Oh
out for the
really?
first time. Yeah, just really good timing, I guess.
Oh boy.
um,
It was
okay,
not happy about how much we were talking about Shrek.
that's what it was. I think we have to stop talking about Shrek.
Yeah, we should stop.
But I want to ask, have you ever seen Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life?
I've done my best to avoid it.
Oh, so you know about it.
I know about it. Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right. So for anybody who's listening, my internet went out, so I just had to restart it, and we're back here. By the way, I just checked to see if it recorded, and it did record. So I think
It
we
did.
it did.
Okay, good.
Thank God.
Yeah,
I think we were
I was
about
worried for
28
a second,
minutes. Yeah. So was I.
but I'm glad that it worked and it's good now. It's good
So am
still.
I. Yeah. All right. So I guess no more Shrek talk then.
No more. Your
What were we
internet
even?
car did not like it.
The Shrek gods didn't like it.
No, they were
What,
not happy.
do you think there's such thing as Shrek gods? Do you believe in a Shrek god?
I I you know what? Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to think that it's like Donkey.
He's the god. So
He's the god.
you're saying Donkey put out my internet.
Yeah. I'm saying that he did it.
All right, no talking crap about Donkey then. I need to be on good terms with Donkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were we even? I guess we were just talking about. I was saying that Shrek had a 4D ride, and you probably wouldn't like that because it
Yes.
requires
'Cause
being able to see
yeah.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking about the weird fun eye tests I get to do
That you know
at
what
my
that would
eye
be?
doctor.
That Shrek ride. It would just be a big tease for you. That's all it would be, because you're such a big Shrek fan, and then
Yeah, I'm
you
such
would
a big Shrek
you're a
fan.
massive Shrek fan, and then you wouldn't be able to see it
I
because
know
you
it
can't
would
see
just
3D.
it would be more upsetting that I couldn't see the whole ride rather than the fact that I like it would just be so upsetting. I couldn't see the Shrek ride.
Yeah,
Just bad.
I don't blame you. Yeah, if I was a massive Shrek fan like you, I'd probably be really upset about that too.
Yeah, it was very disappointing.
All right, let's see if I could try to continue with this.
Okay.
I was curious if they're Jesus, I lost my phone here.
I did too. Don't worry. It's
I was,
okay.
I was curious if you shit. What do I even say now? What do I got here? Sorry. Okay.
It's
Let
okay.
me
We can
just
edit this out.
yeah, whatever. So you're wearing glasses. Do you wear contacts at all, or is it just the
I
glasses?
I don't. I tried contacts for a little while and yeah, it wasn't it's weird because like my glasses are kind of like a comfort item at this point. Like I feel like I can't I feel like I couldn't go a day without them.
Hmm.
But also like when I was wearing contacts, my eyes are really dry. So they would just like hurt all the time.
So
It
you've
was
tried
like
the
constant
contacts.
irritation. I have, yeah. I tried them for a little while, even with like eye drops to like constantly try to like keep my eyes from being dry. It still is just bothering me way too much. So I just kind of gave up on it,
Do you try the
even though my
soft ones or the
doctor
hard
was like
ones?
the soft ones.
Oh, okay.
And they were and my eye doctor's been like pushing it like, "Hey, this will help you." And I'm like, it hurts. I can't. It hurts too much.
Is your doctor saying
So,
you're going to see better with the contacts than with the glasses?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've heard
Because
that from a few people who wear
guess it helps
contacts.
with peripherals or whatever, or
Uh-huh.
like something. So, which I guess makes sense because when you have glasses, you're just like seeing forward with like the thing that helps, whereas with contacts, it like goes everywhere. But
That's what I've heard about. Yeah, that's what I've heard the doctors say about the contacts too. I've tried the I've tried the hard lenses. They're called
I don't
glass
know how
permeable. They're terrible.
that that
I
just sounds painful.
they are painful. It's like you have a piece of glass in your eye, which you literally do. I mean, I think
Oh,
they're made. Yeah, not fun.
oh,
Yeah, not a good
yeah. No,
time.
that does not sound good at all.
Yeah.
Like, I was already like squeamish enough trying to put like this little flimsy piece of whatever it is into my eye. Like, I cannot imagine trying to put like a hard contact into my eye.
Yeah, that took me forever to get to getting the lenses in my eyes because eye stuff makes me very squeamish. I don't like
Hmm.
looking at eyes. Well, I like looking. I mean, not like I don't like being close to an eye. I don't like seeing the red stuff, like the veins. I don't like
Yeah.
seeing the eye surgery videos on YouTube where you can see video like people performing the surgery. I hate that.
I, I, I,
Yeah.
like, I'm with you on all of that. Like, anything that has to do with like eye stuff, I'm like immediately like already just out of the room. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not, no, goodbye. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, it just bothers me a lot.
Yeah, I can't stand that stuff. Do you think having nystagmus has led to anybody misunderstanding anything about you?
Um, I think, I don't know if like about me per se, but definitely like in social situations, I will miss cues sometimes, like facial cues or whatever. Um, like there will be times where I will ask like my grandparents questions and they'll just nod, and I'm still standing there just waiting for an answer because I just did not see that they nodded at me. But I
I
think
see that.
that's led to a couple of times where it's just um, like I guess I'll read like a situation wrong or something, and like I'll come off with like a tone that like doesn't really fit or whatever, and then I just feel like I like seem like off or something, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to do that. I promise. I just couldn't see, like, I couldn't understand what was happening. But
Yeah. I'm
I feel
with
like
you.
that's happened.
I'm also definitely more of like an audio person, like say something.
Hmm.
I'm very like social cues and facial expressions are not my friend, really.
Yeah. Social
Yeah.
cues, facial. There have been times where my friends will come up to me, and they'll be like, "Hey, I waved you in the hallway and you didn't wave back,"
Hmm.
and I'm like, "I did not see you at all. Like, I did not know that you were there." Or like I'll see somebody wave and I'm like, I don't know if they're waving to the person behind me because I can't see your face. I don't know who you are. And I don't want to be the person that awkwardly waves to somebody who's waving to the person behind me. So I
Yeah.
just stand there like, I don't know what to do. Like, what? But no, yeah, I've had that happen a couple of times where they'll come up to me and they'll be like, why didn't you wave back? And I'm like, I didn't see you. I just didn't. I'm sorry.
For sure. I've had that a bunch. So, in the email that you sent over to me, you were telling me that you're practicing on the driving. You're trying to get better at it.
I
How's
am.
that
I'm
going?
trying. Um, it's good. I mean, it's one of those things where I think I put more doubt on myself than I should be. Like I I drive with my dad a pretty good amount, and he always is like, "You're doing like really well." And I'm like pretty good at staying on the like staying in the lines and stuff, and it's not like that big of a thing. But I think I've just gotten in my head so much like this is going to be a super difficult thing. And you're going to have to figure this all out and do all this stuff. And it was really it's been kind of overwhelming trying to like look at everything because like roads main focus, but then you have the speed that you have to pay attention to, and you also have to pay attention to the road signs, and then there's the cars coming towards you, and it's just a lot to take in at once. And I think that's kind of where like most of my nervousness towards driving comes in, is all of
Mhm.
that. And then also like I'm not even ready to start driving like during different types of weather. Like if it's raining, it's already not great. If it's nighttime, it's also not the best.
Right.
So right now I am strictly it's daytime. It's nice outside. Everything's okay.
So how often are you driving?
Um, I was driving a good amount, but like right now, obviously it's like winter. It's like
Oh, are
winter
you,
where I'm
it's
at.
your, are you you're in Ohio, right? Is that
I
what I saw?
am.
Okay.
I am in Ohio,
So there's snow.
unfortunately. And it's not that there's snow, like I think it snowed today. Ohio weather is weird. Like we could have all four seasons in one day. It's crazy. But
Interesting.
no, like I've tried to avoid driving like during these times because like it could be fine one moment and then like snowstorm the next. So I just kind of avoid it and I just wait until summer. Because if it's summer, the worst thing that's gonna happen is it's gonna rain.
Mhm.
And like I think I could be okay with rain. Maybe. Maybe I could be okay with rain. So
I don't know if this would bring any value to you, but I'm talking to someone on Instagram right now who has nystagmus and she drives, and she was telling me about these two things that she uses that helps her drive, and she says that it helps her a lot. The first thing is a GPS that kind of talks to you. So I mean everybody has that. It's on the phone, everybody, but she was saying that one of the features that it has is that it says out loud what the speed limit is, so you don't have to go looking on the signs for that. And it also tells you how fast you're going, and then it'll make a beeping noise if you happen to go over the speed limit. So it provides all that information to you without you actually having to look at that stuff yourself, which I know for me that would help me a lot.
yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her what that's called. I'm still talking to her. So I'll
Yeah.
ask her what that's called. And the second thing that she was telling me is she uses I don't know exactly what it's called. Bioptics. Are you familiar with
Okay.
with the bioptic lens?
I'm not, no.
If I if I'm not mistaken, I think it's something that you put over the glasses, and then
Okay.
so it doesn't cover your whole lens, but it covers more kind of like the top part of your lens. And you're not always looking through it, but when you want to use it, you kind of put your head down and then you look through the top, and then it kind of zooms in, so you see something that's a lot
Okay.
further. So if there's a light all the way down the street and you can't tell what color that light is, I'm pretty sure the benefit of a bioptic lens would be that you can see the light.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool. I have to check it out. Because
Yeah,
like
I've
my main
never.
thing at the moment is like trying to keep like steady with like the speed. The speed's my main thing that I'm like most worried about.
What, do you go too
Like,
fast or too
not that I'm
slow?
going way too fast. It's usually I'm going way too slow.
Oh, I
But
see.
because I get really nervous when I start going fast because then everything's passing by me quicker, and I'm just like, this is a lot for me right now.
Yeah.
I'm slowly speeding up, but the, it's we're slowly getting there.
Okay. Yeah, just keep going with that. What's your vision like? What are you seeing? Like 2070, 2080? What does it
Uh,
look like?
I actually don't know those numbers to be honest. I don't know the last time I was told them either.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know,
Do you
which I
get
guess
your
isn't the
prescription
best
changed
thing.
changed often?
I do, yeah. I go to the eye doctor like once a year, and I basically get my prescription changed like every time I go to the eye doctor. Um, which is so much fun when you're paying for all of those new new lenses.
Oh
But
yeah.
um, like the one I have most recently, I know I'm gonna have to get changed. Because this one's just been awful. Like it changed so much that my eyes have like not even gotten used to them. So I'm just kind of like living with it for right now.
So you just got
Getting
them
the eye
recently?
doctor now. I've had them for like a year, maybe at this point,
Oh.
but it's hard to get into my eye doctor. Um, so
Well, you've got a
I
popular eye
have to
doctor or something?
point. I guess so. I don't know. Like he's a busy dude. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's kind of like the only person that I guess knows about this stuff when it comes to like Ohio. So the beautiful place Ohio is. Um,
Where in
but
Ohio
like
are
he,
you?
where am I in Ohio?
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, you don't have to say it. Not a big deal.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm. We'll just not say that one,
Don't worry
just
about it.
cause.
Yeah.
But
I
he's
just moved to I was in South Florida, and I just moved to like
Mhm.
a little north of Atlanta. So you were
Oh,
talking
okay,
about
cool.
the snow, and I'm just like, oh,
And you're
I
like,
forgot that
oh
existed.
yeah, snow, that thing I've never encountered.
Yeah.
Also,
I'm
another thing to be lucky about, because
I'd
snow
like
is
to
not
see
fun to
some
deal
snow
with.
though.
Yeah,
I think
I'm just
so.
not a cold weather person. And then like you get the weird like slush sort of deal that happens, and I don't like the slush either. It's gross.
You don't like the slush. Do you like slushies?
I do like slushies, but the slushies are made of like good tasting things, and it's not like some weird mud ice combination
What's your
on the
what's
side
your
of the road.
favorite what's your favorite slushy flavor? I'm
I guess
assuming
like
it's not gross mud water. I'm assuming it's not that one.
no, gross mud water from the side of the road is not my favorite. But like probably like the blue raspberry.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
pretty solid slushy flavor, I think.
That's a very solid slushy flavor. I think
I
it's
feel
probably
like
my
it's always
favorite.
a fight between the blue and the red in like everything.
I know. Same with the Doritos.
Yeah,
Do you pick the blue bag or the red bag?
I, the blue. Cool
Same.
Ranch all the
Yes,
way.
I
I
agree.
love Cool Ranch. So good. I think I've just nacho cheese is just like everything has a nacho cheese flavor. Like a bunch of different stuff has nacho cheese flavor, but Cool Ranch I feel is like almost exclusively a Doritos thing. Like I don't know many other snacks that use Cool Ranch flavor,
I never even thought about that. I don't think so
but
either.
but I think that like Doritos has got it. So I just eat those because I could have a million other nacho cheese things, but I
Yeah,
can't have a bunch of other Cool Ranch stuff. So
true.
I go with it because it tastes good and I don't get it often.
Doritos is killing it.
They
Good for
are. They invented Cool Ranch, I guess.
yes.
They got it, man.
Yeah, they're killing it. Good.
An untapped market.
I know. Yeah, I don't know any other Cool Ranch stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it until I was saying that. And I was like, wait, there isn't any other Cool Ranch things, is there?
What if there's a million and we're just like really oblivious to it for some reason? We just have no idea.
Honestly, if there are, I want to be told about it. Like,
Yes. Yeah. Me
please,
too.
please.
Me too.
That would be great.
So weird transition here, but I'm curious if you like, let's say, for example, whenever I got interviewed for a job, they always ask you if you have any disabilities, or if you're applying for a school, they always ask you if you have a disability. How do you respond to a question like that?
How would I respond?
Yeah, like, do you
Um,
consider the nystagmus to be a disability or no?
I think that's a good question. I I mean, personally for me, I think that I could go without saying that it is because I feel like I could be fine. Like if I needed something in like the workplace or whatever, I feel like I would be okay with asking. Or like just like notifying them and being like, hey, I do have this, but I guess I wouldn't write it down as like a disability. But I know that for some people, it's like they have it on a way different level than I do. So I feel like it's purely based on like the person. Um, but like for me, I don't think I would specifically say that it like I would specifically write down that it is.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I've gotten mixed responses on that. It's probably about watch me be so wrong on this. I'd say it's probably like 50-50. Like half the people have
mhm.
said yes, half the people have said no.
Yeah, like I said, I think it just depends on like the person. Because like for me, I know that people have it at a higher level than I do. So for them, I mean, they could definitely like they could say like, yeah, but if somebody has it on the same level as me, they could also view it like, hey, I would like to write this down as a disability. So I think it's purely just um a personal opinion.
Am I the first person that you've met with nystagmus?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Fun.
That's how I had to meet my first person with nystagmus was through the podcast because I've never
Yeah.
seen anybody with it before, and you always hear I don't know if you do, but I do. I always hear the 1 in 1,000 statistic, like 1 in 1,000 people have nystagmus. Where are these people? I don't know where they are.
Please.
Maybe because I can't see them.
Yeah, that's how it is. It's like, like even if I looked right into their eyes, I would be like, yeah, you're good. 'Cause I
I'd be so
wouldn't be able to
excited.
tell.
I'd be so stoked if I saw somebody with nystagmus. I'd be like, yes, yes,
Yo,
like, somebody else.
oh my gosh, yeah, that like I was just excited to get. I was just excited to get to talk to you because I was like, this is the first time I've been able to talk to somebody who like knows like what I deal with because I can explain it the best I can to like my mom or my friends, but they don't like have like they don't see what I'm seeing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like you kind of know what you know
I feel you.
basically what I'm seeing, and I think it's a really cool thing to get to experience just talking to somebody else who knows, you
It
know?
is for sure. Like you said, you can talk about it as much as you want. If somebody can ask you what you see. It's super hard to explain what you see
It is.
unless they're seeing what you're seeing. And to us,
Hmm.
like you're born with it. I was born with it. So we've never seen anything else. So we don't even have anything to
Right.
compare it to. We've never seen perfect vision. So
Like it's my normal.
yeah.
So like I said, like it was weird to kind of like learn that I had this thing because for me, everything that they started asking me questions about, I was just like, I never really thought about it because I
Mhm.
just was living my life. And I was just doing what I thought everybody was doing.
Well, how old were you when
So,
you were diagnosed with it?
um, oh geez, it's been a while. I guess, oh God, was I was young. I was like 5, 6,
Huh. Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
But I don't think I like fully processed that like how how different it was until I got a little bit older. Because like when you're that young, you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever, that's a thing. But like I'm just hanging out. I'm young. I'm gonna go play in the yard now. Like
Yeah. I guess I would say I never even noticed that I had it until other people mentioned it. That was really the
yeah.
thing that brought it to my attention. It made me very aware of it.
Mhm. Yeah. That's essentially how I was because there were things that were happening that I didn't even realize were happening until my mom pointed it out to me.
Yeah.
And I
Do
was
you,
like, oh, okay.
do you have any questions that you've ever wanted to ask somebody with nystagmus that you were never able to?
Oh boy. I don't I don't know. I probably had like a bunch that I'm just blanking on right now.
I hear
And I'll
you.
probably be like, oh, I wish that I would have asked that. But I don't know. I guess like I guess the main one that I had was just like obviously you just kind of went through that transition from like being in school to being like an adult. Was there anything that kind of just was like affected by your nystagmus that you didn't really realize would have been affected or
Um, just the driving. The driving
just the
is
driving?
the driving is the number one thing. I don't know if you know
Okay.
this or if I've told you, but I have a driver's license, but I
Hmm.
don't drive.
Yeah.
So, and I actually want to start working on that because the woman who I'm talking to on Instagram is kind of like making me want to get back to driving because I think we have like
Hmm.
the same eyesight. I think we're both around
Yeah.
2060, 2070, and she's driving. And I'm like, man, all these people that I'm talking to, I think now that you're driving a little bit, I think the majority of the people that I've spoken to on the podcast do drive, and so that's a little motivational to me. So I kind of want to get back on the road and do that. So yeah, to answer your question, I think the transportation thing is the number one thing that's
Okay.
come up.
Yeah, I noticed that that was like a big thing that like everybody kind of talked about and touched on. And I think it's just because it's one of those things where like we kind of just grew up being like nervous about driving because we were like, well, I didn't like some of us were like, I didn't even know I was gonna be able to, or so it's
I
kind
didn't
of one of
even
those things.
know
Just
I
like,
didn't even know that I wasn't gonna not be able to. Like nobody ever
yeah,
told me, hey, you might not be able to drive. I
I
never heard that
I
before.
I didn't hear that a whole lot until I kind of I started getting like I started getting close to that age. And it was one of those things that I started personally worrying about a lot. So I asked my eye doctor about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, you're good. Like, you can drive." Um, but I think that it was just a lot of like mentally, I was like blocking myself from thinking that I would be able to drive, and I'm kind of like trying to get over that roadblock right now.
Hmm.
But that's kind of how it is with like the different weather and stuff. Because like I'm sitting in the front of the car, like in the passenger seat, just like watching the road, and my dad will like ask me like, "Can you see that sign now?" or like things like that, just to kind of like see and like see in distance where I am. But um, I just get super nervous when I'm like in the car driving because I'm just like I feel like I'm not seeing as much as I should be, and it
Yeah.
just makes me nervous.
Do you ever see the signs? I never see the signs.
Like
I see that they're there, but I don't
never.
know what they're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see them, but unless they're like right in front of like the windshield,
Hmm.
I can't. Like they're it's just blurry,
Same.
which I don't think's the best for when you're
That's what
trying.
I say. That's what I say. Like I feel like whenever I drive, I'm with you. I say I feel like I should see more than I'm seeing.
Yeah,
But yet
it's just weird.
I've never gotten close to being in an accident, and I passed my driver's test just fine. I never had any issues, but I just
Yeah,
feel a little uncomfortable. Like I should be seeing more than I'm seeing. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's just one of those things where it's like with the signs, like you want to pay attention to them as much as you possibly can, but you just aren't physically able to. And I think that it's just one of those things where it's like I should be able to do that. Like I need to be able to do that in order to like make sure everybody in the car is safe. Like that's the main thing I'm really worried about. Um, I told my friends, I'm like, I will give you gas money, but I am not going to drive you anywhere. Like you will be the one driving. I will give you gas money, and that's how that's gonna work because
I
I
do
do
that
not
too.
trust myself. I do not trust myself to have anybody else in the car with me. At least, well, I mean, right now, obviously, I don't even have my driver's license yet. But I told them even when I do get my driver's license, it's going to take me a while to get okay with the idea of having people in my car with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you plan on getting the license this year? Is 2022 the
Uh,
year?
I think it is the year. I don't think my dad will let me go another one without getting it.
There you go.
So in the summer, I'm gonna start taking like the driver's ed course that we have near us, and obviously once I go through all of that, I'm gonna work on getting my license. So hopefully, I should have it this year.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the goal for this year, I guess.
Cool. Good. Yeah, hit that. That's a good goal to
Hmm.
have.
Yep, I'm
So
trying.
I think I'm going to bring the episode to a finish right around
Okay.
here. Do you have anything that you'd like to talk about before I end it? Anything on your mind?
Um, no, I think I'm good. I think I'm
Okay.
okay.
Sweet. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening to this. I had a good time. This was a really good episode. I like this one.
Yeah,
I thought
this
this
was
was good.
fun. Thank you for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.